Hi guys, it's Kelly. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the Blooming Bunch from Trinity Stamps. My last video, I showed you this as well, but in this video, I'm actually showing the products. That was kind of a part of Sneak Peek Week. Now, this is the die that coordinates with the stamp. I absolutely love this die. It cuts out all the little nooks and crannies, and it is really a great die set if you're going to get the stamp. And it also has the die cuts for the butterflies and all the other, all the different butterflies. And this is a magnet that I used. I needed a magnet for my dies, and it's from my vet. So always look at your magnets on your refrigerator. You might be able to use one to put your dies on them. Okay, so to begin, I'm using my anti-static powder tool and Versamark ink, and I'm stamping onto Tim Holtz watercolor paper, the distressed watercolor paper. And because I'm going to be using a lot of water on this panel. So yeah, there's the paper there. I just wanted to show you. This paper is nice, and it's got pretty good heft to it, and it can withstand a lot of water. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to stamp this with Versamark Onyx ink, and that's a pigment ink, and I'm going to be using Wow clear embossing powder on top, and that's to make those raised edges to try to contain some of the water. I'm going to stamp it again just to make sure I get a good impression, because it is the cardstock I used. I did use it on the smooth side, not the textured side. There's two sides of this cardstock, a smooth side and a textured side. So I'm heating that up with my Wagner heat tool, and then I'm using my re-anchors. Now here you can use any medium. You can use the pads themselves, you can use oxides, you can use watercolor, you can use really anything here. You can use Tombows, Arteza, regular watercolors, whatever you want. So what I'm using here, I chose to use the re-anchors. Now I'm wetting my panel. I'm using my silver brushes, and I'm wetting the panel big time, like really wet it down pretty good, because I wanted the re-anchors to be, I'm stumbling over my words here. I'm just using the re-anchors, I'm not precisely watercoloring. I'm just adding coloring to the entire image. I'm doing pink, yellow, and green all over the entire image, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a little more detail coloring once the major wash is put down. So that's what I'm doing here, and I use Spun Sugar. I forgot the colors I used. I'll have them linked below. Spun Sugar, or a Squeeze Lemonade, and Twisted Citron, I think. Yeah. And I'm drying that again real quick just to make sure everything was dry, because I'm going to be doing some coloring now over it. What's nice about watercolor is that you can wet it and sop it up if you use too much, and you can always add more. Now, with this watercolor paper, let's put it this way, it works really good with distress inks and oxides and things like that, but adding direct to paper, right now I'm using watercolor pencils, and these work pretty good. But later on in the video, I'm going to be I tried adding Tombows direct to the paper, and it didn't work very well. Tombows and Arteza markers, they work best on Bristol cardstock, not on this cardstock. This cardstock tends to absorb the whatever medium you put into it, and you don't get a lot of movement. So right here, when I'm using these watercolor crayons, I'm using Prismacolor and Faber Castell. I gotta be honest, I thought the Faber Castell, however you say it, I thought those would be better than the Prismacolors, because they seem to be high-end. I gotta be honest, I really like my Prismacolor watercolor pencils better than the other ones. So I stuck with those. Now I'm using my Tim Holtz watercolor brush, and I'm just smoothing out the color that I added the watercolor crayons with, just to add a little bit more definition, just to color in the images themselves. Nothing fancy. I am by no means a colorist. I wish I were. I need more practice. I do enjoy it, but I'm not very good at it. But I do enjoy it. So that being said, I just go with the flow, go for gold, and have fun, right? That's what it's all about. If you start stressing about it doesn't look good, it takes away from the fun of it. So I cut out the image with just some cheap copy paper, and I'm just putting it over my image because I wanted to add some gold splatters. I'm using Hero Art's Glimmer Gold, and it's just a it's like a shimmer paint, and I'm just adding that, speckling that, splashing that onto my panel, and I did it manually for a few drops. I wanted some bigger drops, so I used that, and I removed my little mask there, and this way it protected my image from getting any gold splatters on it. Once that was done, I just dried that up real quick, made sure it was dry, and then you'll see here is when I'm going to take out the Tombows. Now at first I thought, okay, I'll just add some definition, but then I realized, ooh, that's not a good idea because the Tombows, again, do not work well on this cardstock. So I just scribbled a little bit of the Tombows onto my laminated sheet, and I picked it up with my water brush, and I just added some color in from there. Again, I just did it a little bit just to add a little bit darker colors to add some shading. Nothing crazy. And I'm just blending that out. And again, this is a water brush that I happen to really like. It's the Fine Detailer, and I use this for, I have like 2 of them. I use them a lot. So the next thing I did on my A2 panel was I added some black and white striped vertical paper, and that's from MFT. I just made that a little bit smaller, so I had a little bit of a black border. I glued that down with my Tombow Glue. Once I had that on straight, I added my watercolor panel, and I just put a lot of glue on there because it was a little bit of warping from all the water and the heating and so forth. Then I just took my number 8 gel pen, and I added a few little marks and highlights onto my images. I do this a lot. It just adds a little extra something. And then I also added some Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen in clear. You'll see that here in a moment. And adding these little marks with the white gel pen, they really make a big difference. And what's good about the white gel pen also is if you get a little mark or you color outside the lines, the white gel pen is always good to cover that up. It's a crafting tool I highly recommend to anybody, and I have 3 different sizes. I have the 05, size 5, size 8, and size 10. I like them a lot. The next thing I did was just add a happy birthday sentiment from Trinity Stamps. A sentiment for almost everything. That's from the set here. And I heat embossed happy birthday from this set in the bottom left hand portion of my card. And then I added some Tonic Nouveau drops in Blackboard. I think that's the name of them. I'll have them linked below. These are vintage drops, and they dry matte, and they round out awesome. The other black drops, the regular clear drops, the black Nouveau drops, they don't round out as nice as these. So when you tap them, they round out nice and smooth. So I like them a lot. And they still have a little bit of a shine. And that is my card, folks. So if you get a chance, please like and subscribe, and check out Trinity Stamps Instagram, Facebook page, and their blog for more inspiration from the creative and design team. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and you're staying safe and happy, and stay crafty. Bye-bye.